like that. I don't know.
Yeah. So lack of healing, couple things that can probably help with that. Firstly, just make sure that you're requesting healing, getting your supports to look at you faster, and whatnot. Using cover properly, moving behind cover as soon as you start to see people looking at you and damaging you. That will help negate damage and make sure that you're not taking as much damage. When you are on high grounds, you don't want to be positioning on high grounds that are a mile away from your team. If you start getting pressured, you should be usually able to just immediately fall back to your team. Not in all circumstances, but a lot of the times if you're on a good high ground, it's close enough to your team that you can just drop very easily, get healed super easily.
I feel like it's a bit different this low of elo. Like I can literally jump in front of my team and they won't heal me a lot of
Yep.
times.
Which is fair. Like I said, just keep pressing I need healing. That gives them an in-game audio cue of where you're at, and lets them know that you do need healing. And then if they don't heal you, then just look to take less damage, look for health packs and whatnot.
All right.
Just remember that the enemy team's not getting healed too. Okay. Make sure we're not holding onto our railgun. We were kind of sitting at 100%, like when we had just a lot of people in our
Yeah.
face. Want to just be using it frequently. Very nice. Probably could demech her there. Remember, railgun can go through her defense matrix, so watch her health
Oh
bar.
yeah, I didn't know that.
Yep, because it's a At least I'm fairly certain. Maybe I'm not. Pretty sure now. Yep. Because I think it's a beam similar to Zarya.
Yeah.
Okay, make sure we're using our E. I don't think I've seen it used at all yet, so just make sure we're throwing it out there and doing things with it. Pretty much want to be getting it out there off cooldown just because it adds extra damage to our engagements and whatnot.
All right.
Okay. Very nice. Good kills. Ultimate, very nice. 4K. Ultimate maybe like a tad bit early, and we used it before we even really turned around and turned the corner.
Yeah.
So we didn't really know like where everyone was. We didn't give ourselves any time to kind of scout scout their team out. Just might want to give it an extra like 2 seconds, 3 seconds for the fight to develop a hair more, give you more things to shoot at. Watch your health bar once again. Yep, there you go.
Yeah.
Okay. We have cart here, so we did kind of like do like a really far back. We probably can just walk around the corner. We didn't need to back all the way to spawn, or to old spawn.
Yeah, I'm used to my team backing up really far, or the enemy's chasing really pretty far.
Oh, okay. It looks like a diva was eating it, which is interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll have to keep an eye on that.
I feel like in the past it's been stopped by it,
Hmm.
but I don't know.
So I guess it functions more as a hit scan shot rather than a beam shot. Which
Yeah.
I suppose that does make sense for what a railgun is supposed to be. Alright. Okay. Very solid first round. I mean, we're 14-1, so going pretty good
Yeah.
so far. Just, yeah, it was especially towards the beginning, it was just like frequency of using our abilities. And then first ultimate kind of was just a little bit rushed, and that's primarily what we've seen so far.
Yeah, for sure.
Can a single grain of sand differentiate between heap and not heap?
It thrills me to put aside my preparations and humor your brilliant inquiries, Doctor. It thrills me.
Kind words. Thank you.
One other thing I'd mention is just I guess that the further away you go in range is just a reminder to be doing that tap tech, just because it's going to be giving more headshot value just once you start getting to that mid range and further back. But that's
Doing
slightly more
what?
on the minor end. I think last time I think we talked about the 9 tap, right, rather than just
Oh
holding it
yeah.
down, right? So just doing that the further away we go. Okay. Potentially could be looking like pressure off the high ground, like if she's just up there, and then rather that like in the future, if you're trying not to just like get domed the moment you turn around the corner, we could potentially slide up to the high ground and make sure
Yeah.
like just engaging with our E, that sort of thing. Very nice. I like. It looks like our railgun, especially I think in comparison to last time, it's seeming a lot more smooth in our transitions, and that's what I'm liking to see. It feels like it's
Yeah, the changing
yeah.
it to left click helped a lot,
Hmm.
I think.
It's just a lot smoother in like how we'll kind of seamlessly transition into it, which is how it should be.
Oops.
Oh. Okay. Make sure they're E that we're just watching that it's not getting caught on objects. I noticed one thing that's
Yeah.
happening a lot is that we'll throw it way too far past people. So make sure we're making sure it's connecting with something if we're not at max range, so that it's not just going indefinitely behind them, and but that it's hitting something. So think about like the wall or the floor that we can connect it with. Okay. Consider I don't know if I'd waste railgun on shield break once you're near the end or outside of your ultimate, because you kind of want to save that last railgun for actually
Yeah.
getting like a head tap, whereas the shield break isn't as important as saving it for like a head tap and whatnot.
Yeah, for sure.
And then just got to be careful as well. I think we ended up dying because we were just a little far in.
Yeah, I
um,
went way too close there.
mhm. Almost. Right. Kind of hard rolling them at the moment.
Yeah. This wasn't really a good game to get coach on.
Okay. Got a little far out there rather than maybe just taking some cover and sticking
Yeah, I
with our
thought
team.
for some reason I thought my team was gonna die there, but
Yeah. You just gotta watch out. Probably last fights we can probably just be popping our ult, right?
yeah. Oh my god.
Make sure to just line up the headshot. Stand still for half a second if you need to. Like especially like when there's nobody else. It's just Reinhardt and Mercy.
Yeah.
We can stand still, take that extra half a second to just make sure that we're hitting that headshot. Don't do crazy movement. You know, when you have that easy shot, you want to take the easy shot.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, go ahead and just queue up for another game. I'd say that the one of the biggest things I'd say in that one, even though it was just a hard roll, was just E usage. Like I'd say that we probably landed an effective one. Probably like 1 in every 3 or 4. A lot of the time the problem was that we would just kind of flat up miss it and it wouldn't go anywhere near their team. Like I
Yeah.
said, the kind of the two main ones were either we'd throw it way too close or way too far. So make sure we're watching out for random, watching out that we don't accidentally hit a wall or the floor. And then if we are going for those longer range ones and we're trying to hit the enemy with it, intentionally try to hit walls and ceilings or maybe even them to get it to stop on top of them, whereas a lot of the times it's just sailing past them because we're just trying to chuck it straight at them. A lot of the times I'd say it similarly to like an Ana nade or a Kiriko Suzu, you're not gonna want to chuck it straight at enemies because if it misses, then it just goes sailing past them. So instead, aim for the ground or a solid surface, and a lot of times this can be much more effective of an option. Make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Let me know when you get into gaming. I'm streaming. We
Yeah,
can
for
go over
sure.
that replay for a minute or two.
Yeah.
Coming through.
Uh-oh, AFK. Throwing the game. Okay. Probably could have chucked like an E at him there. Just get that on top of him. That could help destroy turret. Make sure we don't have to spend too much time on it.
Alright.
Okay. This is definitely a range right here where we should be tapping, where we just hit a lot more headshots. Like, notice how even though we're kind of aiming at him there, like, not all the shots would even be connecting because of the spread. So once you get to that, like, mid-range, you're going to want to just because of much more effective headshots. Okay. Here, spending maybe a little bit of time outside the fight. We kind of do this preemptive E without even seeing where people are.
Yeah, I don't know why I thought the Mercy was alive. That was weird.
Yeah, and then it's also just kind of really aggressive of a play. And then we spent a large amount of that fight just kind of not even in it. So just
Yeah.
want to be careful of doing like long rotations in the middle of the fight, and just want to make sure we're participating. Yeah, same thing. This range is tapping, but then also on top of that, I think last time we talked about your effective range as well, and if I'm not mistaken, I see you got a game. But make sure we're playing at that mid range and not standing all the way back here. You did a little bit better in that in the game that you just played, but you just want to be careful that we're not standing a mile away when we could just be like, for example, up here. Oh, what's happening? Where we could be like up here on the corner and be just as safe and be with our team, except for now we're more of a mid-ranged rather than active.
Yeah. Right.
Alright.
They have this coming, so let's give it to them. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Round 1. Capture the objective. Trouble's here. Going somewhere? Need repairs. I need healing.
There's a health pack to your left here, by the way. But also, oh yeah, like that one right there is an option. But then also just make yourself accessible to your team as well. Don't, if at all possible, don't make them run a mile to get to you.
Yeah.
Slide away as soon as possible. Get outside. We had slide the whole time, so just get outside of his effective range, and then you're gonna be much better off. And really, you're just trying to escape there. You're not really gonna be able to duel monkey 1v1 usually, unless he's already low or you have another advantage. Okay, pretty good usage. There they use Suzu, so you just gotta keep our eyes on that. I think that's why our railgun didn't connect.
All right.
Probably toss your E on top of the ult, like right at the doorway. Remember that you can kind of use it as zoning. So if you see Kiriko's tossing an ult, I'll talk more after.
All right.
Very nice. Yeah. At this point, fight's lost, and we kind of just need to think, okay, are we gonna die? Are we gonna be able to make it out? And if you don't think you're gonna make it out, then at this point, it could just end up being staggering yourself.
Yeah.
Where notice now how, yeah, we got a pick, but we traded 1-for-1, which isn't usually a great trade. And now if our team tries to push back in, now they're staggering. They can start a stagger train. Usually just not a great idea. So once you see that fight's lost and there's no chance you're getting out, just jump off the map, and then that way you group up with your team. Or to try to leap back to your side. But as I was saying before, if she's you can use your E kind of as a zoning ability, and for example, use it at common places where people are gonna be walking, doorways, chokes. When they use Kiriko ult, and you can toss it at that doorway and stop them from pushing through, or else they're just walking into your damage. Yeah, that's a good spot right there. Kind of force Soldier to back out. Okay. Kind of held on to Railgun that whole fight, so maybe looking for like a squishy to pop with it.
Yeah.
Or even just tossing it in the monkey. Just better to use it than not to. Nice. Whew. Little close, but I like that we're using it. Very nice. I like the instinct that the first thing you're thinking of in that duel is the E. That's really gonna help you win those. Okay, probably could be looking for ult at some point here once we see an opportunity. Very nice. Turn around. He was lower there. He got healed by the Ana, but when we had railgun there, possibly could have turned while we're running, and that could have gotten him.
Alright.
Crosshair placement. Make sure you're just aiming a tad bit higher. I think we're landing a lot of railgun shots. Maybe could be landing a few more critical railgun shots, and that could help get us a lot more one taps. It's not super far off, but just like just a tad bit higher would definitely help a lot more with crosshair placement. Yeah, that point is pretty much lost.
Score 0-1.
I thought my time in the field was done. But I guess you can't predict everything.
Another day, another mission. Man, I'm so excited.
Five, four, three, two, one. Round two. Capture the objective. We cannot tolerate our next steps. You cannot escape me. Stay put. Praise upon us.
Yeah. At the start of the fight, high ground probably would not be too shabby of an option as long as we're very careful of the monkey who can dive us. Just looking to slide away if he ever gets on top of us.
Yeah.
Nice. If you ever see that you have team support and he's low, potentially, like, don't be afraid to move into his bubble to finish off kill.
Yeah.
Yep. So once the fight starts, I think our if our team's pushing forwards, that's fine. Once the fight starts to move to point, we probably want to be either on top right or even on the middle little pillar. And that can be pretty good positioning for us. Maybe taking bounce pad would be a good option. I don't think that you can jump up there like that. I don't think you can jump high enough.
I wasn't sure. Figured I'd try it. I heard someone over here, I thought.
Okay.
I thought I was at the opening.
Starting to hold on to railguns a hair more than we were last round. Make sure we're just looking to, like, last round they were a little bit more like smooth into, like, we would go tap 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 railgun and kind of be this fluid motion on kills. This time around, we're getting to like 100 a lot more, and we'll kind of just hold it at 100 for a couple seconds, and then we'll kind of whiff railguns. So try to combo it into your shots. So when you're just shooting at people normally, that's going to make it most effective when you're kind of just adding it into the tracking of a kill. Nice. Uh-oh. Just gotta keep our eyes and ears open so Reaper's not sneaking up on us. and then sliding away as soon as we see it. So both of those can help keep us alive if we're okay, good job, Moria.
Damn.
Sliding away as soon as possible, and then also just keeping eyes and ears open. Here, retake high ground like as we're coming back into the fight. Once again, it's just going to be high ground gives us tons of visibility, tons of visibility over the fight, a lot of survivability. If they start to try to contest us, then we can just slide away back to our team. Don't forget that we do have our ult here. Okay, don't be afraid to play a tad more aggressive when you. I mean, don't sprint into their team, but play a tad bit more aggressive when you have railguns, so that you're putting yourself in positions to get kills. You're more dangerous when you have your ult up, because that just means that you can get those one taps, so you're able to be slightly more aggressive. And then besides that, we also kind of missed the opportunity. Make sure we're kind of paying attention to. I think our Zarya landed a grab on at least one person. But that's if we just combo railgun with that, that's at least one free kill because we just get that easy headshot into the grab. So just look to combo. That's gonna usually grab Sigma ult. Those are gonna be good combos with our ult as Sojourn overclock.
All right.
Trying to remember like what the name of it was.
Yeah.
Okay.
Make it count. Breaking them down. Thanks for the help. Railgun powered and ready to fire. Need repairs.
Okay, make sure we're not running towards him. So two things. Firstly, we kind of reacted slightly slowly to him TPing up. We didn't look at him until after he'd already TP'd. And then the second thing was that after we dropped, we kind of walked into him versus walking away from him. We also had slide active, so we could have slid away from him, or potentially we could have just slid back up to high ground once he dropped. It's not like he could have. He just used TP. So we have slide. He doesn't have any way to get up to us. Just be an easy way to just be easy way to get away from him.
Yeah.
Railgun still at full power.
That's a great spot for it. Right, those tight chokes, great spot for E.
Not so fast.
Yeah, kind of have to get those rhythms down for those taps. It's 9, so it is a lot. So it's kind of an awkward rhythm, but just everyone we kind of gotta get used to it. Obviously, it's a little bit newer tech. Slide to mix up your movement, make it harder for him to hit you, make you more unpredictable, and then placing E closer to yourself keeps him off of you and further away. So rather than chucking it at him, put it kind of in between the two of you so you can get damage, hopefully, and get him off of you.
Yeah.
That's what you want to do a lot of times. Like if you start getting dove by Genji, Monkey is placing it on top of yourself, or on top of the both of you, because once again it does extra damage, and and on top of that pressures them to get away from you. All right, still pretty solid game. We probably have time for one more if you'd like to do another one here.
All right. Back to that replay, I guess.
Yeah, works for me.
Going somewhere?
Okay, watch the railgun charge. Sometimes it seems as though like we're not really paying attention to what charge the railgun is. Here,
Yeah.
it's when we're already 70, and 70 is gonna one tap a tracer just because she's 150, not 200. Right? Remember, it's 82 to one tap 200 HP target. So if she has 50 less HP, then pretty sure that 70's enough to tap her. So
Yeah.
I would be trying to toss an E down. I'd be looking for that railgun headshot, just because that immediately shuts down the threat, and it's a way that we can just get her out of the fight. So that'd be what I would go for here, rather than the E. And then E would be like if if you don't have railgun up and active.
Yeah.
Okay, once again, we're kind of holding on to it. You could have used it at any point there. Let's make sure we're not holding on to it, and we're looking for it.
Railgun powered and ready to fire.
Okay.
Enemy turret eliminated. We must stop the
Okay, I
enemy
see you
from
got a
the
game. Probably could be tossing Ian here. Once again, holding on to railgun. So obviously, it seems. Oh, very nice headshot there. It seems like that's a little bit of stuff that you've already. I'm not sure how old this game is. If it's if it's the same day or if it's a couple days old, but it looks like you're already starting to do better with a couple of those points. But it's still something to work
Yeah.
on. Of just like not holding on to railgun and not holding on to our E and not holding on to our slide. Sometimes we'll have people on top of us and we'll be in duels and we'll hold on to slide. Just remembering that when we don't use our abilities, they don't get any value, and a lot of times they can get enough value to get kills and win fights and win duels and whatnot.
Yeah.
So make sure you're just looking to use them frequently.
All right.
Together, we are stronger than. I forget the rest. But it was so inspiring.
Attackers incoming. Defend objective A.
Okay, watch feeding her bubbles. Okay. Request healing. Also, I mean, at this point, our whole team's dead. But two things there. Firstly, make sure that we're not dropping into the middle of their team. Probably just stick high ground unless you have a reason to drop. Also, general rule for bubble shooting is you only ever shoot at bubbles if you know you can kill her, or if you need to try to kill her because she's just gonna run through your team. But you only go
Yeah.
for it if she's out of position, if she's low HP, or whoever she's bubbling. If they're out of position, if they're low HP, then you shoot to break bubble. But besides that, we just want to make sure we're looking to avoid it. Great E usage, great spot for that. But we just want to make sure we're not feeding her energy needlessly.
job after this.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Gotta be a little bit careful. Make sure you're using cover, not sliding to middle of their team.
Come on, Vivian. Get yourself disrupting. I'd stay down.
Okay, good E. Starting to get a bit better with those placements. But right now our team kind of needs to reset. Watch where your team's at because we're pushing a little bit ahead of them.
I need healing. Hitting the ground running.
Okay, maybe we could be like sliding top right or something like that. Okay, make sure medium range. Playing a little bit farther. Very nice. I want to see more of those kind of rail guns, just because those I find are like the easiest to get when it's just comboed into shooting.
Yeah. I felt like he was about to go on my team over there.
All right. Somehow, somehow she didn't kill us, but gotta be careful that when we start getting contested up on the high ground, they were dropping to our team so that they can help protect us rather than running into their team, which is just going to get us killed. And oftentimes going for that 1-for-1 trade, or pretty much every time going for that 1-for-1 trade is not gonna be worth it.
All right.
Ooh. Okay. Once again, when you see fights lost and over, two options: back out, regroup, or sorry, back out or let them kill you. Which there we kind of did the middle again, where we didn't really back out fast enough, and then we also didn't intentionally let them kill us, which just meant that we
Yeah.
were awkwardly getting staggered.
Going somewhere? Cooling down.
Uh-oh. Gotta keep our ears open because I think
Yeah.
there's Genji and Kiriko behind us, and we kind of pushed a little too far.
In my world,
Yeah.
there are no secrets.
Just gonna switch for the rest of this defense.
All right.
Always plan an exit.
Okay. That point, that's once again, that's lost. Not much you can do after your whole team's dead. But we did, what we did do to impact that loss was the fact that we were dead during the start of the fight. We kind of staggered and
Yeah.
we died really early on, which just led to our team being down a player. So gotta keep an eye out. Right now, if we just press tab, we have a lot of deaths. I think we're at 8. So if we
Yeah.
just do a quick scan, that's highest in the lobby. I'm feeding
Yeah.
a little bit, right? So we got to be really careful that we're not dying and being able to get value. We're dying a lot because we're standing too far away from our team, being out in the open. A lot of times it's being out of position at the moment. Sometimes it's a little bit of lack of awareness of people behind us and on top of us. Make sure we're not that's the main one. Make sure that we're kind of syncing up with our team, not pushing too far ahead, not standing too far behind, not staggering and dying way too late. That's probably one of the bigger things this game is that we're just really out of sync with what our team's doing.
I'm more of a basketball
Yeah.
person.
Not a fan of your home team, huh?
Don't put words in my mouth.
Knowledge is its own reward. Margaret.
So there, if we get to our proper 30 meters, we can probably toss like an E up to that high ground, or that's also like probably a good idea. Just toss it on the side. Uh-oh. Yep.
Recalculating.
Once again, kind of noting that when we're running away from our team. So just gotta
Yeah.
make sure that we're sticking with them. Yep. Remember, it's 9 bursts, not 3 bursts.
Yeah.
But once again, that'll be like a time and habit thing. Just gotta get the muscle memory in.
I'm gonna change the slumber again.
Okay, I wouldn't place translocator and spawn. That's gonna be a really long walk back if you end up needing to translocate. So I'd set up like on that health pack over there, exactly where you're
Yeah.
going.
Tengo que irme. Feeling much better. Translocator set.
Okay, make sure you hack health pack just when you get the chance. And then if they're not
Alright.
coming over to find it, you can probably place your translocator on top of. Uh-oh. Yeah, don't start hiding your translocator until they start looking and contesting the health pack, because otherwise that's just extra time that you need to be running over. You can usually just plop it right on top of the health pack.
No estás a mi nivel.
Okay, Zarya's probably the wrong target to be focusing there when she's fully being
Yeah.
pocketed by her whole team. Kiriko's a little bit
I
better.
don't know.
Melee. Watch the health bar. If she, gotta be careful about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, when Kiriko's like 1 HP next to you, maybe make sure we're just going for that melee kill. Hack health pack, place translocator on top of health pack unless contested.
My ultimate is ready.
Someone destroyed my translator. Probably him.
Make sure that when you're going for EMP that we're looking for immediate follow-up damage, where I think we kind of weren't really looking at anyone in particular until a couple seconds after we used EMP. Alright, main thing that game was survivability, staying alive, and then all things connected to that, kind of being able to sync with the team. We'll have like a few minutes of doing the replay, and then after that we'll go and wrap up and do the end credit stuff for the session.
Doesn't get better than. Clear out.
My ultimate is almost charged.
Clear out.
Okay. Alright, this works. There, probably could have used, once again, use
Right
your
on the money.
railgun to finish him off a bit faster. Okay. Notice here, you have a tendency to look down. Last time, did we talk about cross replacement? Kind of, did we go in depth on
Yeah.
that at all? Yeah. So same thing. Notice how like we're walking around and look at where Crosshair's at. We come up against these guys, and usually you do adjust upwards. You like to aim at the floor a lot when you're just walking around normally, and then you'll adjust up when you see people. But then even when we adjust up, notice how we don't go up to head level here. Where it's even worse, or we're kind of aiming at their feet. Just
Yeah.
means that we're not really gonna be hitting a whole lot here. Look at where we're aiming. And then we go in, look at where we're aiming on Mercy, chest level. It just means that any shots we're going for, we need to adjust up to heads if we're trying to land them. So crosshair placement, head level, make sure we're trying to keep it there. Okay, good kill.
Cybernetic innovation at its finest.
Uh-oh. So a couple things there. When we see her sliding out of the way of the Junker Queen ult, placing in maybe an E when she's coming in that aggro, sliding out of the way of Pulse Bomb, so awareness, right? We can't dodge it if we don't know that they're happening, right? So we need to pay attention. And then also, once we see it happening, make sure sliding. That's one thing that we probably could be using slide a lot more, is just sliding to escape danger. Sometimes we'll just kind of let danger happen and then we blow up.
Yeah.
Alright, let's exit out. Let's start to wrap up a little bit, go over the main points, do a quick review. So, we went over Sojourn the whole time. Abilities. Oh, that's not the right character. Abilities, E usage. Don't try to chuck it at people directly. That's just going to be a little bit, not all, never, but a lot of times you're not going to want to chuck it at people directly. Instead, throw it on ceilings. Throw it on walls, throw it on floors. Those are all options. If you're below them, obviously you can't the floor here, so you do a ceiling instead. Do it on the floor whenever you have the option. Keep in mind the ranging of it, because sometimes we can intentionally get it to max out the range, so we can get it to where we want it to go. Place it in high foot traffic areas, so such as like a high ground when they're all in high ground. Chuck it into where you see big groups of people, but also like chokes and doorways, because it acts as zoning, right? They have to push through the choke, they have to walk through it, right? Which is just gonna slow them down, put them in the choke longer. It's gonna make it so you can do extra damage to them. That's gonna be a great thing to zone out, like ultimates, like we said with Kiriko ult, just chucking at that choke so they can't really push through without walking through it. Use it frequently, don't hold on to it, and then also make sure we're just not letting it get wasted by just going too far or getting caught in things, right? Shift usage, use it more frequently once again. Use it to shift. You're going to like slide. You're gonna have a couple different usages out of. You can use it to get to high ground, which I think we've been using it for mobility a lot. Use it to escape danger, which I don't see us using as much. Make sure we're just using it to get away from dangerous situations. Use it to put distance between yourself and close range characters. That's another thing where we'll have like a Reaper or a Monkey or something like that on top of us, and we'll have slide active, but we'll just stand here instead of sliding backwards away from them. So make sure we're just looking to do that. Railgun, look to combo it in with your just normal shooting. Try to make it more fluid. I think we did an especially good job of that in our first game, and then the other ones dropped off a little bit, but of course it's just gonna be a consistency thing as you work on it. But that's what I found as well, just playing Sojourn, is that's the easiest way to hit railguns is when you're just adding it into tracking. Because when you don't and you just do it like this, where you just we get it up to 100% and then we just sit here and look for it, well then a lot of times you can kind of get in your own head about it and you'll end up just whiffing the shot. Whereas if you're just doing it with the tracking, it's much smoother, it's faster. The faster you're killing someone, the better chance you have to actually kill them. Think about the breakpoints. Don't just get it up to 100 and let it sit there. Make sure, once again, we're using it. Sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes we'll kind of have spells where we'll just hold on to it for some reason. So make sure we're just using it and getting it out there. And don't use it to break shields, right? So a couple things there. Abilities overall, probably like a medium, maybe, very maybe higher end of medium, but maybe about a medium priority for you to work on. Ult usage, make sure that we are kind of scouting and not blindly using it, so we don't, if the whole enemy team's over there, we don't want to just like use it before we're turning the corner or as we're turning the corner. It's much better to turn the corner and then use ult so you can actually see where they are, so the first second or two, which sometimes can be crucial if it means getting a pick with it, making sure that we actually know where they are and we're already lined up with the headshots, so that when we ult, we can immediately follow it up with the shots rather than being delayed with it. Make sure that we're not using it too early in the fight. Don't hold on to it. Sometimes we'd like, you know, be last fight or something and kind of just be a bit delayed in using it. Overall, that one is going to be about a medium, but probably a bit lower than abilities. Once again, if we work on a railgun, we'll probably be working on that as well. Then moving on. Then we have your mechanics. Aim at head level. We're hitting a lot of body shots. You're getting a lot better. I'd say since last time, you got a lot better at landing your railguns, but it's still a lot of body shot railguns, and that's not going to be as effective. Has that reminder, headshots do 2 times damage, right? So you're going to be doing a lot more effective damage if you're going for headshots and whatnot, so be looking for that. Besides that, make sure at ranges that we're doing those 9 bursts rather than just holding it down, because if we're just holding it down, we're going to be very ineffective. Look at, this is probably a better example. If we just hold it down and then we start looking at them, notice how many shots are missing just because of that spread. So starting at that medium range, start looking for it, but it is a 9 burst, so you can get a decent amount of shots off before you have to start before you have to let go and then immediately get back into it. Target prior, once in a while, a little bit of a target priority thing, like, you know, looking at the Zarya when we shouldn't, watch shooting bubbles when we shouldn't. You know, only go for them if we know that we can secure the kill, or if we're forced to, that sort of thing. And then, of course, just working on your combos with railgun. Overall, that one probably, I would say, goes to a medium, but a little bit. I would say that your railgun, your ultimate usage, your overclock, probably goes to like a lower end of medium. Then we'll say abilities is higher end of medium, and then mechanics is medium. Just to differentiate a little bit. Then we got your positioning. Make sure you're using cover. Good positioning is the usage of cover. Bad positioning is the absence of cover. Sometimes we would get caught on the open, and then that would get us killed. Make sure that we are taking high ground. Sometimes we kind of sit low ground when we had like plenty of time to rotate. Making sure like in between fights you got plenty of time. You got like 20 whole seconds while they're regrouping and coming back in. So use that opportunity between fights to rotate, take high grounds. When we are on high grounds, if we start getting contested, drop to your team. Don't just run away along the high ground and stay isolated. So if our team's below us, just like slide backwards to our team so that you're getting away from the enemies, not running into them. When you're in danger, don't run away from teammates, run towards teammates. Stay within your effective range, right? So making sure we're staying at that medium range. Sometimes we'd get a little too far and get into that longer range, I'd say is the most common of what we do poorly. overall, that one I would say probably goes to either higher end of a medium or maybe lower end of a medium high. That's probably the highest we've seen so far. And then finally we got awareness, and making sure we're paying attention to our surroundings. People would sneak up on us and us not notice, right? Watching for that Reaper teleport, keeping eyes and ears open. That's probably one of the bigger ones, is noticing when people are on top of us or behind us. Besides that, pay attention to just the flow of the fight. Make sure we're not staying in too long. Last time, did we discuss how to tell whether or not you've won or lost a fight?
No.
Nope. That's my apologies that we didn't go over that, but we don't really have the time for that at this point. But make sure we're paying attention to just like, okay, if we're down our entire team, get out if you can. If you can't, let them kill you, right? Don't overstay your welcome. And then all of the other odds and ends. Watch your health, request healing when you're low. All the other odds and ends of awareness. Overall, that one's probably going to be about higher end of a medium. So to put that all in order, number 1 is probably going to be your positioning. Number 2 is probably going to be your ability usage, just because that also will affect your ult usage as well as you're working on railguns and whatnot. Number 3 is going to be your awareness. 4 is your mechanics, and then 5 is ult usage. Any questions?
Nope.
Nope. Alrighty. Then we are all set.